Hey, how's it going? It's Jeremy with What a Lot of Woodworking, and today I want to talk about floating tenons. And I'm making this set of benches. That's a farmhouse table style of matching benches. It's just going to be made out of 2x4s, and I thought I'd show my probably favorite type of joinery, which is floating tenons. So if you've never made floating tenons, all you need is a router and probably a table saw to make the tenon stock. So I'm going to just make a short video about the setup I use on my router, which is at the end of my table saw. So we're going to make some of these today and see how this little bench turns out. Alright, so I'm going to show how I would mark out and lay out the markings to create a mortise at the end of this stretcher right here. This will be almost like an apron for a table, but it's a stretcher for this bench, and we need it to perfectly line up flush with the top and be able to mate perfectly in the right spot with this floating tenon that's in here now. So let's see how that's done. Okay, so I decided to make my floating tenons to be the width of roughly 1/3 of my stock. So this piece of 2x4 is 3.5 inches across. So I've made my floating tenon to be about 1.5 inches wide, and I'm left with 1 inch on either side. It's almost 1/3, not perfectly. So here's how I would do the layout. I'm going to mark 1 inch from either edge of the board, and if you have the ability to clamp your work down in a vise, it makes it nice. So I'm going to mark 1 inch from each side real quick. Take my speed square, square it up right on the 1 inch. And like that, I have just marked out this mortise. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and do the other side while I'm at it. One inch. Now we're ready to take this over to the router. Okay, so here is the router bit. It's a 1/2 inch straight cutter, 2 flutes. It's a long one that's about 4 inches tall, and you can see that I've basically laid out lines here that represent where this blade is. And of course this router is unplugged right now, so it helps me to guide the center line of the piece that I'm working with. So another thing that I forgot to do was just that, to mark the center line of the board. But basically you'll have a center line, okay, which you see here, and this is a piece of MDF connected to my table saw fence. So this will move. So all I do is basically line up the center line on the board with the center line on the plywood that I've already marked. Lock the fence down. And then I'm ready to route. So I'm going to turn this on. I've already adjusted the height of the the bit already. It's going to be 3/4 of an inch deep, and everybody will tell you that it's wise to hog out the material with a router bit in short passes at a time. So instead of going the full 3/4 of an inch thick, maybe do a 1/4 inch at a time or a 1/2 inch at first and then finish it off. That takes so long that I've been trying it just in one straight shot, and it's been working out fine so far. But so that's what you're going to see me do, but that's not technically the best procedure. So then all you do is you lower this down into the middle, let it sink to the floor, and you're going to use this mark here and this mark here as your start and stop points. Alright, so now just that easy we're able to get those mortises cut in for these floating tenons, and hopefully everything just lines right up. Or not. There we go. So I'm pretty happy with the layout lines are lined up pretty well. The tops are flush, and all of that just has to do with your layout, nothing to do with the technique. But creates a pretty strong joint, and when you're done you have something stronger than screws with just no metal joints, no metal fasteners, and something that should last a while. Okay, so thanks for watching how I make floating tenons, and this is the bigger bench that I've already made, and this one I decided to utilize some space, I put a drawer bottom in, and the depth of that 2x4 is able to store kitchen towels or whatever. So hinged it, and this top is all made with floating tenons. Everything on here there's no screws. The only screws on here are for the hinges and that other stop hinge or whatever you call that sliding thing over there. So this whole bench is just made with floating tenons, so it should last a good long while, and it's pretty strong. So this top is consistent with the look of some farmhouse tables that you see that are being made today. So I'm going to be making that also a table for us. So again, thanks for checking it out, and I hope to make a lot more videos in the future. So if you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe and give it a thumbs up, share and like and all that. Thanks a lot.